happening, the guy that gave Pooh Shiesty the gun pulls out a phone and starts recording the crime. It's even funnier.
This is a picture of the victim. So this white kid here, a white guy, he's a cameraman.
He probably made that motherfucker immediately, and you know how the feds operate. You know, they just been going around interviewing everybody and going to get the surveillance, the shit you just got to read, and that's why it's taking so long. And then, you know, of course, I'm sure they tapped the phones and trying to get some audio, but don't sound like they got none. I'm sure you probably would have read it.
This looks like it's serious, man. I don't know how Shiesty gets out of this.
Every version of this story we've told so far, it's all been from the outside looking in surveillance clips, leaked paperwork, FBI statements, CNN breakdowns, anonymous insiders. We've been putting it together like a puzzle, one blurry, frame one, rumor one, theory at a time.
The final suspect has been arrested. We've been able to obtain video which shows the FBI at Pooh Shiesty's home the day he was arrested. Take a look at that video. This happened in Memphis. Federal authorities say Shiesty was the ringleader behind the attack on Gucci Mane here in Dallas. That incident happened back in January at a music studio located off Dallas Parkway. The DOJ says Gucci Mane and two others were allegedly kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint. They say 9 people were involved, including Pooh Shiesty's father and Big 30.
But today we're stepping inside because someone who was actually in that room, not watching on a screen, not reading a blog, not breaking down security footage, but someone standing just feet away from Gucci Mane when everything went down, has finally decided to speak.
All this is happening, the guy that gave Pooh Shiesty the gun pulls out a phone and starts recording the crime. To make this even funnier, after Gucci Mane signs the contract to release Pooh Shiesty gives the contract to his father and asks him, "Is this adequate, Dad?" After looking at it, his father says, "No, he needs to date it," as if not dating it would somehow make it void. Forget about the guns and the fact that the rest of his friends are being holed up in another room. No, bro, you better date this shit, motherfucker. Now, as Gucci Mane is being stuck out to sign this contract, Pooh Shiesty's friends that he came with, it looks like 5 or 6 of them, have the rest of Gucci Mane's security and entourage at gunpoint. One of Pooh Shiesty's people stands in front of the door so they cannot leave. So now, Gucci Mane and all of his associates are being held at gunpoint. Gucci Mane in the side room and his other people like in the lobby. As they're sitting there at gunpoint, Pooh Shiesty decides, fuck it, let's take all their other shit too. The contract ain't enough. So they rob Gucci Mane of his wedding ring, cash, and jewelry. They also rob members of his entourage of their jewelry. If you're gonna rob someone of jewelry, you probably don't want it to be distinct so it can be traced back to you. Well, I guess Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Pooh Shiesty's father and their gang, think it's a good idea to steal 1017 chains. 1017 is a record label that Gucci Mane owns and operates. Members of his entourage have these chains. So Gucci Mane and his people steal these chains. And the cherry on top of all of this, besides his friend recording their event, besides the dad say to sign the fucking document and put the date, or his friend sticking up all the other individuals in the other room with CCTV, Pooh Shiesty does all of this with an ankle monitor on. I think I can unequivocally say that Pooh Shiesty is the stupidest criminal I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Gucci's cameraman, the guy whose job is to be everywhere. Gucci is to capture everything, to be that invisible lens documenting the lifestyle, the business, the behind-the-scenes moments that build the brand. This isn't just some random cameraman. He's been with Gucci for years, seen it all, filmed it all. And up until now, he's never said a word publicly about any of it and what he's describing. It doesn't match what people think happened. It doesn't match the surveillance footage. It doesn't match what the internet ran with. It's deeper, more personal, more calculated, and honestly more unsettling than most people imagine. This is important. This video hits different. This isn't speculation. No theories. This is a first-hand account from someone who saw it unfold in real time, heard every word, and felt the energy in that room shift. So first you need to understand who this person is and why his story matters in hip-hop. The cameraman is probably the most overlooked person in the room. People think it's just a guy holding a phone or camera, background noise, furniture with the lens, but at Gucci's level, that's not how it works at that level. The cameraman is part of the inner circle. He's in private meeting. Nobody else gets access to. He's at dinners where real business happens, on the tour bus, on flights, in the studio. Inside the house, he sees the real Gucci. Not the Instagram version, not the interview. The actual person behind the brand, this cameraman, who we're not naming for obvious reasons, so we'll call him Lens, has been working with Gucci for years. He was originally brought in around 2017 to shoot social media content, but over time, his role grew into something much bigger. He became more like a documentarian, capturing daily life, business moves, and artist interactions. And that part matters a lot because Lens didn't just film Gucci. He filmed Gucci with Pooh Shiesty. He filmed Gucci with Big 30. He saw the meetings, the studio sessions, the mentorship moments when everything was solid. Which means he also knows what changed. He saw the relationship before it fell apart. He caught the warning signs. Nobody else noticed, and most importantly, he knows exactly how that night played out, not from a camera 60 feet up, but from just a few feet away with his own eyes, according to Lens. Tension didn't start the night of the confrontation. It started the night before. He says Gucci got a late night call around midnight that completely flipped his mood. Lens didn't hear the full conversation because Gucci stepped into another room, but he saw the difference. And he says it was like watching a switch turn off before the call. Gucci was relaxed. It had been a good day studio session when smooth business meetings lined up. Even Keisha Kawar had stopped by earlier with the baby. The vibe was calm, family energy, normal after the call. Silence, not angry, not loud, just quiet. Lens says Gucci sat on the couch for a long time, not saying a word, just staring at his phone, scrolling. Then he made a quick call himself, maybe 2 minutes, hung up, looked at Lens and said 4 words. Don't bring the camera in. All the years Lens had worked with, them that had never happened. Not once the camera was the job. So for Gucci to say that, it meant whatever was coming wasn't meant to be filmed, not content, not public, not for anyone to see. Lens says that moment scared him more than anything that happened the next night, because it meant Gucci already knew something was coming. Maybe not exactly what, but enough to shut everything down. Everything down. The next evening, Gucci told Lens they were heading to an event. Even after that warning, Lens brought a small camera anyway. Not the full setup, just something compact he could keep in his bag. He says it was instinct. Years of filming had trained him to always stay ready, and something about that night didn't feel right. When they got to the venue, the energy was already off. Gucci's security was heavier than usual. Normally it's 2, maybe 3 guys that night. 5, and they weren't relaxed either. Tight formation, alert, watching everything. Gucci himself dressed low-key, no flashy designer fit, almost trying to blend in, which for someone his size and status is nearly impossible. But the intention was clear. They didn't even use the main entrance. They went through a side door. That alone was unusual. Gucci usually makes an entrance. It's part of the image. Walking in front door, letting people know he's there, but this was different. Lens asked one of the security guys what was going on. The response, short and cold. To stay close, keep your head on a swivel, no details, just a warning. The venue itself was a mid-sized lounge, not quite a club, not quite a restaurant, around 40-50 people, music playing, but not loud. The kind of spot where people go to talk business without too much noise. Gucci sat in the cone. V-Whip section, grabbed a drink, started casual conversations with a few industry people, nothing out of the ordinary on the surface. Lens stayed close back by his side, camera ready but hidden. And he says he wasn't watching the room, he was watching Gucci. Because Gucci, he was locked on the door, not casually. Not like he was waiting for someone, like he was expecting something. Every time that door opened, Gucci's jaw tightened. Just for a second, then relaxed when it wasn't who he was looking for. This went on for about 45 minutes. 45 minutes of acting normal, while clearly not being normal, smiling, talking, laughing, but never taking his eyes off that entrance. And then the door opened and everything changed. Lens says it wasn't dramatic. No sudden movement, no obvious reaction, but something shifted, subtle control. Gucci's shoulders dropped slightly, chin lifted, his hand moved from the armrest to his lap. Small details, but if you knew him, you catch it. Lens looked toward the door, and there they were, Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, and 2 other guys. He didn't recognize most people in the room, didn't even notice music still playing, conversation still going, drinks still flowing. To everyone else, it was just 2 more people walking in, but Lens caught something the cameras couldn't. The 2 unknown guys didn't stay with Shy and Big 30. They split. One moved toward the bar near the front entrance. The other drifted toward the back near a hallway. They weren't there to party, they were taking positions. And if you've ever seen coordinated movement like that, military, law enforcement, anything structured, you recognize it instantly. It looked like a setup. Control the exits first, then move. Lens leaned toward one of Gucci's security guys and whispered to something. Off. The security guard nodded. He already saw it, but Gucci, he didn't move, didn't signal, didn't stand up. He just sat there watching Shy walk toward the VIP section and waited. Lens says there was something almost resigned about it, like Gucci Mane already knew this moment was coming, like he'd accepted that this confrontation was inevitable and chose to face it on instead of avoiding it. And honestly, Lens says that's the most Gucci Mane thing he's ever seen, a man who could have walked out. Could have had security shut it down. Could have avoided everything, but instead stayed seated and let it come to him. This is the part that changes everything because, yeah, the surveillance footage showed the physical side, the pushing, the grabbing, the chaos, but it couldn't give us what Lenz is about to reveal the words. Lenz says he was about 8 feet from the VIP section when Pooh Shiesty approached Gucci close enough to hear everything, close enough to read faces closed, enough to feel the energy in the room drop instantly. And according to him, Shy didn't come in aggressive. He came with the question, calm, direct, normal tone. And the question was, where's our money, Gucci? And I want the real answer this time, but Gucci didn't rush to respond. He took a sip of his drink, set it down, looked straight at Shy and said, everything you're owed is accounted for. Talk to the lawyers. Alen says that line, talk to the lawyers, was the spark because Shy's face changed immediately. The fool gone, his voice dropped not louder, lower, and somehow that made it worse. He basically said they've been dealing with lawyers for 8 months. Lawyers talking to lawyers, lawyers pointing to the label, pointing to accounting, pointing back to lawyers, a loop. A system designed so nobody actually gets paid. Gucci's response, controlled, almost dismissive. That's business. You signed a contract. You agreed to the terms. I didn't force you. And that's when Big 30 finally spoke. He'd been quiet the whole time, arms crossed, standing just behind Shot one center. That's it. Nah, but we can hold one of yours. Most of the room didn't hear it, music covered it, but Lenz heard it, Gucci heard it, security heard it. And in that moment, everybody knew the conversation was over. Something else was about to begin. What happened next? That's what the cameras caught, the physical part, but Lenz adds something those angles couldn't show. Says Shiesty didn't just reach across the table randomly. He went straight for Gucci's phone, deliberate focus. He wanted the phone, and Lenz believes it's because that phone had proof, text, voice, notes, financial records, communication with lawyers, accountants, label people. Shy wasn't after jewelry. Nomination. Cashy wanted evidence. Gucci's react. Instinct, he shoved Shy back immediately because nobody just reaches into Gucci Mane's personal space like that. But here's where things get deeper. Lenz says the cameras didn't fully capture what happened next when Big 30 grabbed Gucci from behind. It wasn't just a hold. He leaned in and whispered something in Gucci's ear. Lenz couldn't hear it. Too much chaos, bottles breaking, people shouting, but Gucci's reaction? Instant, he stopped fighting completely. A man who was resisting just seconds before suddenly went still. And Lenz says that moment still haunts him because whatever Big 30 said, it made one of the most fearless figures in Atlanta freeze. And in all the years Lenz had been around him through beefs, confrontation's real danger. He had never seen Gucci stop like that. Lenz believes, though he admits he's not 100% sure, that it involved Kashia Kawar, that something about his wife was said, something that instantly raised the stakes beyond business. That's when Gucci shifted from reacting to calculating. Now we get to the part that connects everything to the second footage, the hallway with Kashia Kawar. Lenz says during the chaos in the main room, he lost sight of her. Too much happening. Pushing, yelling, movement. His focus stayed on Gucci. He didn't see her. Leave didn't know where she went, but he heard something after Shy and Big 30 started heading toward the exit. Lenz heard a sound from the hallway. Not a scream, not shouting, a sharp inhale. The kind of sound someone makes when fear hits instantly before they even process. Lenz moved toward the hallway, not trying to be a hero, just instinct. Something felt off and he got there just in time to see the aftermath. Kesha against the wall, Shy walking away, her clutch on the floor. But Lenz noticed something the camera didn't clearly show. She was crying, not loud, not dramatic. Silent tears, the kind that come from shock. Her hands were shaking badly. Even after everything had stopped, when Lenz asked if she was okay, she couldn't even hold her phone. He had to pick it up for her. He walked her back to Gucci. And when Gucci saw her face, the tears, the trembling, the look in her eyes, Lenz says something in him changed, not anger, something deeper, quieter, permanent. Gucci held her face, looked at her and said, I'm going to fix this, all of it. I promise you. And Lenz says, right. Then he knew this wasn't ending peacefully. Whatever came next, legal, financial, anything, Gucci was going to make sure the people responsible paid, not in a street way, in a slow, calculated, complete way. Now, here's the twist nobody saw coming. Remember that small camera Lenz kept in his bag? The one Gucci told him not to. He didn't film the confrontation, he respected that, but afterward in the hallway when Kesha was shaking and Gucci was making promises, instinct kicked in. He cracked the bag open and hit record, didn't pull the camera out, didn't name it properly, just let it run inside the bag most of the footage. Ceiling noise, but parts of it captured audio, clear audio. Gucci speaking to his security team right after everything happened. Lynn says he hasn't released it, not to CNN, not to the FBI, not to anyone. He still has it, and he's holding on to it because he hasn't decided what to do yet. But he described what's on it. Gucci calm control, giving instructions not for that night, for what comes next, the plan, steps, legal moves, financial moves. And some things Lynn says he can't even describe yet because they haven't happened. He says Gucci wasn't reacting in that moment. He was executing like someone who someone who already thought through every possible outcome and just activated the right one. No hesitation, no emotion, just precision. And according to Lynn's, that short record, more powerful than any surveillance clip because cameras show what happened, that audio shows what's coming. So I asked Lynn's one last thing, why now? After years of silence, why? And his answer wasn't what you'd expect, not money, not clout, not revenge. He said, he's scared because he was there, scared because he saw too much, scared because the FBI has already contacted him twice, scared because people tied to Shy's side have reached out to, not threats yet, but not friendly. Either scared because he's sitting on footage people would either want or want gone. He says he's stuck in something way bigger than music, federal cases, international hunts, powerful people. And he's just a cameraman caught in the middle, so he went public because he believes being seen is protection. Is it protection? Nobody knows what he knows. He's a loose end. But if everyone knows, you can't silence it. So he told everything: the phone call, the side entrance, the positioning, the words the cameras missed, the whisper, Kesha shaking hands, the hidden recording, all of it. Hearing all this, it makes sense. For weeks we've been watching from the outside footage, reports, investigations, trying to piece it together. Now we know, not from a ceiling camera, from someone standing right there feet away. Watching them fold in real time. Shy wanted money. Big 30 wanted leverage. Gucci stood his ground. And Kesha got caught in the middle, wrong place, wrong time, and somewhere in all of this, a cameraman pressed record. And now he's holding something that could change everything again. It's not a question of if that footage comes out, it will. Everything does. The real question is, who gets it first? The FBI, PI, Gucci's lawyers or Shiesty's side? Because once that recording surfaces, the next chapter begins.